Welcome to another personal pondering in the Psalms, and today we're looking at Psalm 3. And in some ways Psalms 3 and 4 make a pair. Psalm 3, as we'll see, is very much a morning psalm. It's the psalmist waking up after a good night's sleep and thanking God for his protection of him, whereas Psalm 4 is a psalm committing the psalmist himself to God as he prepares to sleep for the night. And so we're looking at Psalm 3, and the background for this, as we're told in the preface to the psalm, is the story recorded in 2 Samuel 15 and the following chapters of David fleeing from his son Absalom. So it's a very real situation of danger that he finds himself in. And it's a wonderful psalm where David is very aware of the reality and the scale of the danger that he's facing, but he's even more aware of the reality and the scale of the protection and the security that he has in his God. So here are the three thoughts I want to share with you from this psalm today. First of all, verses 1 to 2, it's all about the crisis that he faces. And for David, it's a very real crisis. He's aware that many, that word is repeated 3 times in the opening verses, many are his foes, and they're attacking him, and they're basically saying, God has no hope for you. God has written you off. God is not going to come to your aid. So you're on your own. David is very aware of that. And maybe you feel a bit like that today or at other times. You're aware maybe of personal enemies, maybe of persecution, maybe of circumstances. Everything just seems to be against you. And maybe Satan is whispering into your heart, not even God can get you out of this. Even if he wanted to, he can't. And so David is very aware of the crisis that he faces. But secondly, in verses 3 to 6, he expresses great confidence. Notice what he says here, but you, O Lord, are a shield about me. So he's rebutting the allegations of his enemies that God can't help him and God won't help him. And he's saying, no, and he addresses himself to God. No, God, you will help me. You are my shield. You are my refuge. You're the glory and the lifter of my head. And so David is utterly confident that his God is going to deliver for him. And it's great because God is his shield, he can sleep in the midst of great difficulty. You see, David says in verse 5, I lay down and slept, but I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. So he's very conscious that God has protected him, God has preserved him, even in the midst, perhaps, of enemies physically encircling him and keep him in great danger. I was reminded of Psalm 91, on which I was preaching just recently, where the psalmist there says, you will not fear the terror of the night. Why? Because the Lord is your shield. What a great confidence to put our head on our pillow at night, knowing that we are safe, not from danger necessarily, but safe in danger, because the Lord is our shield. So you have David's crisis, you have David's confidence, and then in the last 2 verses, you have David's cry. He appeals to God to deliver him again and again and again from his enemies, and he recognizes that salvation is only found in the Lord. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing be on your people, is how he finishes that psalm. And again, we have this word blessing that we've already seen in the first 2 psalms in this book, because it's a very practical blessing. It's the blessing of preservation and deliverance. He calls on God to smite his enemies. Very graphic language. You strike all my enemies on the cheek. You break the teeth of the wicked. You render them powerless, is what he's saying. Impotent to cause me any harm and to cause me any danger. So my prayer for you, as well as for myself, is that in the midst of all the dangers that we face, of all sorts, from all sorts of sources to which they come, we'll take our eye off the danger, recognizing its reality, recognizing its scale, but fix our eyes on the one in whom we trust, the Lord who is our shield about us. And we cry aloud to the Lord as David did. He will answer us. If we are his child, he will answer us from his holy hill. He will answer us from the Holy of Holies itself, from heaven, and come to our aid by the ministry of the Holy Spirit. May God bless this word of encouragement to our hearts, and may the Lord bless you. Join with me again in our next study as we look at Psalm 4.